So, welcome everyone, and good evening, good afternoon, good morning from where you are joining today and wherever you are with us in the world. Today's session is kind of very special, and welcome back to Let's Talk Energy with Saikat, where we break down global energy conversations into something real, relatable, and we always say ABC. Anybody can understand. It's not the jargons that we'll use. And today's discussion is honestly on one conversation that sounds futuristic, but it's readily shaping our lives right now. Because let's be honest, have you ever asked? Have you ever asked about yourself? Like, have you complained about your electricity bill every time during the heat waves? Worried about blackouts during the storms? Or you can say, wondering why renewable energy sometimes cannot fulfill the power grid even when we have enough installed capacity. So, yes, the answer may not be just be energy, it actually be climate intelligence and data. Those are very interesting to understand. For years, we have talked about solar panels, batteries, wind turbines, and the net zero targets. But have you ever talked about what drive those data? And today we are going beyond renewables because future of energy may not belong to only one countries that not with not like many resources or most resources, but to the system that can be understand the weather, the climate, the risk ahead. And when you talk about the risk ahead, honestly, sometimes I feel climate data is becoming like that one friend who warns you, all the time. Something's gonna be happen. And take an umbrella today. Otherwise, when you ignore them, then you regret it. So accept now instead of running your clothes or instead I can say like it can affect entire energy system, electric prices and other system which directly affects your socio-economic aspects. So we are decoding something today very incredible, important, beyond renewables, why climate data is define the future of energy. And to help us unpack this, we truly have someone working at the global intersection of climate science, energy systems, forecasting, and resilience. Please welcome Roberta Boscolo, climate energy lead and the role model of mine from World Meteorological Organization. She's not just predicting and weather, she is helping shape the energy discussion and decision. So here we are with Roberta Boscolo. Hi,
Hi,
Roberta.
Roberta.
Hi, Saikat, and thank you for having me today.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot.
And
And
so it
so it
sounds like
sounds like
weather's
weather's
running the
running the
grid,
grid,
And
and
now
now
how can
how
I
can I
AI and
AI and
climate
climate
forecasting give
forecasting
us
give
a
us
head
a head
up with
up with
evening dip?
needed?
But
But
before we
before we
go
go
towards
towards
AI,
AI,
before we
before we
go
go
about
about
other
other
climate
climate
stuff,
stuff,
let's
let's
hope
hope
how you
how you
came to this
came to this
sector. Like
sector,
what
like what
exactly
exactly
driven
driven
you
you
into
into
motivation to
motivation to
be
be
into more
into
into
more into
data
data
and
and
climate
climate
resource and
resource and
weather
weather
rather
rather
than
than
being
being
technical into
technical
the.
into the.
So, the angle that I'm approaching energy is actually from, as you said, from the weather and climate data. Um, let's say historically, those data were useful, or those intelligent were useful for infrastructure because we had a lot of infrastructure and extreme event. Those information was important for extreme event, for exposure and vulnerability of the infrastructure. But while we are now transitioning to a clean energy and looking at the clean energy, basically renewable energy, the resources that we are harnessing are really dependent from the weather and climate. So I feel like that more we increase the capacity of renewable energy, more the world of energy, electricity, power, and the world of meteorology will come closer and closer. And and it's fascinating because it's kind of a new approach. But I'm also thinking that the industry and the energy industry is now waking up on how important are these data for them. Is, as I said, not just for extreme event, but for investment now, for managing, operating renewable energy, for optimizing the energy mix, because we have different sources: solar, wind, hydropower, and the data are very important to optimize the mix, the mix of these sources. And for, as you said, as you mentioned, to be able to predict the price, and also to reduce the price for
Mhm.
society, for the people that have to pay for this energy.
Yes, wonderful.
Wonderful.
And
And
welcome to the
welcome to the
show.
show.
It's
It's
wonderful
wonderful
to
to
have you
have
here
you
as
here
well
as
with
well
us.
with us.
We will
We will
decode
decode
today
today
many things,
many
but
things,
it's
but
not a
it's a
discussion,
discussion,
just
just
interview or
interview
anything.
or
It's
anything.
really
It's
a nice
really a nice
discussion.
discussion.
So I
So
hope
I
you
hope
brought
you brought
us
us
a
a
sunny
sunny
outlook
outlook
today.
today.
But for
But
the
for
first,
the
tell
first,
us
tell us
how
how
climate
climate
variability
variability
already
already
impacting our
impacting
energy
our energy
system. We
system.
really
We
want to
really
know
want
that,
to know that,
according to you.
according to you.
So we are actually starting to look at the climate variability and what is happening, for example, with the generation of renewable energy. Big example, I can talk about the El Nino Enso oscillation. We know that, for example, during a strong El Nino or El Nino, we have droughts in South America, and especially in areas like Colombia, Peru, Brazil. So this is going to affect the hydropower, and these areas, these countries depends from hydropower. Like 70% of their generation of the electricity is hydropower. So this is an information that we can provide to decision maker, to the country, to diversify their energy mix, and perhaps think about to improve the increase the wind um, and solar in these countries, so that they depend less from the hydropower, and they will have so they can withstand better period of El Nino and drought. We know that, for example, it seems like there is a signal in Southeast
Hmm.
Asia, especially in India, where the wind is decreasing. There is a trend of decreasing wind
Wow.
in India, and maybe maybe this is a sign of a climate as well. And so, of course, these are um, a way of looking ahead, and a way of try to uh, find solution, and nevertheless continue to the transition to renewable energy.
It's really
It's really
interesting to know
interesting to
like
know like
how
how
the weather
the
can
weather
change
can
the
change
entire
the entire
pattern of
pattern of
electricity as
electricity
well.
as well.
And it's
And
not
it's
just
not just
electricity, it's the light.
electricity, it's the light.
So it
So it
sounds like
sounds like
weather's
weather's
running the
running
grid,
the grid,
right?
right?
Uh, do you
Do
think
you
that
think that
AI
AI
and
and
other
other
technology which is
technology which is
coming can
coming
help
can
us
help us
predicting
predicting
the
the
future of
future of
energy?
energy?
Absolutely. I think AI will be very helpful to analyze all the data, and because it is a matter of collecting the data. The WMO has been collecting climate data and weather data for a long time. But now the next step, especially with the energy transition, is start to look at the weather data and the energy data, and to put them together, because this will provide more knowledge and more intelligence, how we are we better operate this new technology, new
Hmm.
energy, and how also we operate the grid. I mean, how we make sure that this energy, generated energy, is not wasted but actually goes to the grid and is distributed. So AI will certainly be able to improve our analytical capacity,
Hmm.
because there will be a lot of data injected in the AI and the ability to have quick answer and able to respond. Of course, also there is a problem of data centers and the increase of electricity of the data center, which is another issue. Um, but we really hope that eventually we arrive to the point that all the demand of electricity for this data center is met with low carbon
Hmm.
or clean energy or renewable energy.
Or
or
renewable energy.
renewable energy.
That's
That's
fantastic.
fantastic.
Also, see,
Also,
so
see,
I
so I
can
can
see that
see that
one day
one
my
day my
energy
energy
bill
bill
will
will
know that a
know that
heat
a
wave
heat
is
wave is
coming
coming
before I
before
do.
I do.
So
So
now
now
resilience
resilience
are most
are most
important as
important
well.
as well.
So do you
So do you
think that
think that
our
our
most of
most
the
of the
grid in
grid
the
in the
world
world
are
are
resilient enough
resilient enough
to
to
handle those
handle
kind of
those kind of
changes,
changes,
including the
including
AI
the
as
AI
well?
as well?
And this is the other aspect that we need to look at, and what is climate, how is climate impacting in the infrastructure. So it's not just generation, it's also the infrastructure. Certainly there are a lot of infrastructure, and the grid is an infrastructure element of the energy, of the electricity. Those there are These infrastructure have been built 30 years ago or 50 years ago, where we know that the climate was very different. And so the parameters that was used to build that infrastructure, they don't uh, now stand anymore. And we need to look ahead, we need to look forward, and we need to start to adapt um, uh, this infrastructure to the current climate and the future climate. So I believe that part of some infrastructure will need to be reinforced, looking at the climate change data. And we know, for example, that climate change is increasing the extreme events, some extreme events, for example, wildfire. I mean, this is a very good example. We have much more intense wildfire because of climate change, because of the global warming. And of course, grids are one of these infrastructure that are extremely exposed and vulnerable to wildfire. So we know, example what happening in California, for example.
Correct.
So this is something that we will need to look at it. And another example are hydropower, which are construction that usually are done for 30 years. And another example is power plants, nuclear power plants that they need. For example, the nuclear power plants also are infrastructure that are built for long time, 30 years, and most of them are on the coast because of they need water, or the coast on the river because they need water for cooling, for the cooling system. And if you think about the sea level rise, for example, that is, of course, uh, these are infrastructure that are going to be more exposed to climate change.
Fantastic.
Fantastic.
This was
This
I
was I
talking about
talking about
data,
data,
and the
and the
information that we
information
are
that we are
getting
getting
from this
from this
session
session
is
is
different, really.
different,
Like
really. Like
whatever we
whatever
get,
we
the
get, the
information is
information
from
is from
same
same
data,
data,
the same
the same
information from
information
all
from
over
all
the
over the
AI as
AI as
well and
well and
Google. But
Google. But
when we
when
talk
we
about
talk about
real time
real time
changes, what
changes, what
exactly is
exactly is
changing?
changing?
What is the
What is the
past? What the
past? What
data
the data
saying?
saying?
This is
This is
where
where
the
the
policy
policy
change has to
change
be
has to
done,
be
the
done, the
infrastructure change
infrastructure
has to
change
be
has to
done,
be done,
and other
and other
aspect which
aspect
we
which
don't
we
speak
don't
about.
speak about.
I think
I
this
think
is
that
the
this is
time
the
that,
time that,
ladies and
ladies and
gentlemen,
gentlemen,
Roberta was
Roberta
scholar.
Boscolo.
So she's
So she's
always up
always
with
up
all
with
the
all the
informations, and we
informations,
are
and we
really
are
keen
really
to
keen to
learn more
learn
from
more
her
from
as
her
well.
as well.
So right
So right
now,
now,
I
I
think
think
the
the
grids need
Greeks need
more
more
training
training
than
than
I
I
do in the
do in
gym,
the gym,
really.
really.
And
And
seriously,
seriously,
what's
what's
missing
missing
is the
is the
link.
link.
Is the
Is
link
the link
from
from
COPS
ops
agent
agent
when it
when
comes
it
to
comes to
climate.
climate.
It links
It
from
links from
infrastructure when it
infrastructure when it
comes
comes
to
to
the
the
government,
government,
and also
and
the
also the
finance when it
finance
comes
when
to
it
the
comes to
bank.
the bank.
What would be
What
the
would be the
really
really
pressing
pressing
situation right
situation
now,
right
for,
now, for,
according to you?
according to
Is
you?
it the
Is it the
infrastructure?
infrastructure?
Is it the
Is it the
finance?
finance?
Or is it
Or
the
is it the
policy
policy
that is
that is
not
not
acting
acting
properly the way it
properly?
should
It
be?
should be.
Well, I think it's the combination of the three, really. I mean, you know, invest new investment, because we are transitioning in a new system, and new investments are now in new infrastructure, like wind turbines, wind farms, solar farms. These are investment that has to be guided by climate data and weather data. We have a policy don't take into consideration
Hmm.
in many way, local policy, national policy don't take into consideration the changing climate. They sometimes they take information from past climate, and they derive a risk assessment from the past climate, while we know that the past climate cannot anymore
Hmm.
guide us for the future climate,
True.
True.
because things are changing because of the emission. And um, and so the policy has to take into consideration this new data and the current infrastructure. Of course, I mean, there should be some assessment, recurring assessment of the new risks and the new exposure, um, new in, new intensity, for example, of extreme event like storm, new intensity in heat waves, for example, a new intensity, and I have to say, very important, sea level rise
Hmm.
that is continuing, and is the what we initiate is it will continue for a while,
Correct.
even if we stop emission right now. The heat that is trapped in the ocean, the
Hmm.
ocean absorb 90% of the excess of heat
Correct.
Correct.
is there, and it will continue to increase the volume. It will continue. Also, the glaciers are melting, and this is contribution to sea level rise, but also contribution to a different regime, for example, for rivers, and so different regime for hydropower. All of this has to be, the policy has to take into consideration and has to guide the industry to review their operation and their risk assessment regularly, and I would say more frequently than what is actually happening now.
No, I think
No,
you
I think you
comprehensively
comprehensively
pointed out
pointed out
exactly what are
exactly
the
what are the
topics that we
topics that we
are
are
lagging
lagging
behind.
behind.
It's not
It's
just
not
one
just
way
one
of
way of
seeing the
seeing the
entire
entire
scenario.
scenario.
There's
There's
different
different
other
other
aspect of
aspect
seeing
of
the
seeing
entire
the entire
scenarios.
scenarios.
It's not
It's
just
not just
three
three
overarching
overarching
infrastructure,
infrastructure,
finance,
finance,
or
or
policies.
policies.
There are
There are
more
more
drivers or
drivers or
indicators
indicators
to be
to
taken
be
into
taken into
consideration as
consideration
well,
as well,
which we
which
don't
we don't
usually take
usually
in.
take in.
And
And
when we
when we
talk
talk
about
about
policies, I
policies,
think
I think
policies has to
policies
be
has to be
driven
driven
by
by
science-based
science-based
evidence and
evidence
data
and
as
data
well.
as well.
But most
But
of the
most of the
policies which
policies
has
which
been
has
done
been done
previously are
previously
not
are not
exactly
exactly
doing the
doing the
same
same
justice
justice
on
on
nowadays,
nowadays,
because it
because
has
it
to
has
be
to be
changed. It
changed.
has
It
to
has
be
to be
updated all the
updated all the
time.
time.
Same goes with the Paris Agreement. Same goes with the Kyoto Protocol. So really amazing, amazing topic to talk about. Um, for another query, when we talk about talk, when we talk about like policies, what kind of agenda are you thinking to be included, or maybe we will see in this year's COP21 if you follow COP or if you follow other agendas related to the AI intelligence, but also not in terms of negative aspect, but how to drive it into more resilience and with a governance, like use the AI into more governance and to manage the demand, basically.
Yeah, so there are, as I said, a couple of aspects with AI, I think, and that can really help the energy transition. First of all, WMO is looking at the AI to improve forecast and to make sure, for example, to improve the uncertainty in the forecast, to be able to analyze faster the data, and especially AI is democratizing the forecast
Mhm,
and will allow to also countries that they don't have big computers or big computing power to actually develop their own forecast, because AI will actually help them and they can use a small computer. We don't need to have, it's not going to be a numerical computation, it's going to be more like statistical. And AI will really help countries that at the moment they lack of the capacity to improve their forecast. So also to support the national strategy of energy, the national transition, and the long-term objectives. So that is one aspect. And the other aspect, as we said, I think AI will be help to collect more data, analyze more data, to data that how people consume energy, how people uh, can use so the user and the consumer will be more with AI.
mhm,
We can control better
correct.
the demand side and be more efficient. For example, improve the energy efficiency, because we will have a better way of collecting data, analyzing the data, with, as you said, with weather forecast, with demand side, and 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 also better to understand what we need to do and what we need to what kind of solution are for during an extreme events like heat waves.
Mhm,
So it will, in my opinion, help both the uptake of renewable energy and also the energy efficiency. And I'm really sorry, there is some, I don't know if there is some
yeah,
noise.
yeah, it's audible, but it's not too much audible. Don't worry about it.
Unpredictable.
Unpredictable. Same as the climate. We need some kind of AI as well over there. But interesting, quite interesting to know all the points that you raised. I think the entire AI system has to be uplifted. The energy system can be uplifted as well by having proper efficiency. So if you say, I think few days back I was reading an article from, I think this is the Energy Outlook from the DNV, and only in that particular article it was saying that the energy consumption and the demand will be minimum from now as the efficiency will increase, which will also minimize the usage of AI, like usage of energy of the AI, and it can minimize both the supply and chain management as well. So it was
So it
quite
was quite
interesting to
interesting
know
to
that,
know
okay,
that,
of
okay,
course,
of
we are
course, we are
moving
moving
ahead
ahead
more
more
drastically, but
drastically, but
definitely there
definitely
will be
there will
more
be more
R&D and
R&D
more
and more
innovation,
innovation,
which can
which can
increase the
increase the
efficiency of
efficiency of
energy
energy
system as
system
well.
as well.
And that's
Yeah.
the
And that's the
same goes
same
with
goes
vice
with vice
versa.
versa.
The IPCC also, in the latest assessment report, they were looking at the energy efficiency from the demand side.
Hmm.
Mhm.
And if you empower the users, for example, to understand with weather forecast when there is going to be a wind, more wind or more solar radiation, they will be able to take decisions and utilize the electricity, charge their car or
Mm.
use the washing machine, or I don't know. I mean, when this is an abundance of renewable energy, so you empower each user to actually take decision on the efficiency side, and that is going to be a revolution. This is something that AI can actually help.
Definitely.
Definitely.
So I think
So I think
we
we
always hear
always
about
hear about
negative and
negative and
positive
positive
aspect of
aspect of
every
every
side of
side of
AI,
AI.
but
But
I'm very
I'm
keen
very
to
keen to
understand
understand
how the
how
future
future
will
will
be
be
tailored
tailored
and
and
customized by
customized by
using the AI.
using the AI.
I guess
I
we are
guess we are
using AI
using
in
AI in
everywhere.
everywhere.
In fact, my
In fact,
coffee
my coffee
machine,
machine,
my
my
phone,
phone,
everyone is
everyone is
using the
using the
AI,
AI,
and we
and we
cannot
cannot
restrict
restrict
ourselves that
ourselves
okay,
that okay,
AI is
AI is
taking
taking
control into
control into
energy
energy
because we
because
are
we are
using it.
using it.
It is
It is
making us
making us
efficient. So why
efficient. So
not the
why not the
energy
energy
system?
system?
Yes. As I said, if you could have an app on your telephone, and where all your appliances are
Mm.
connected, plus you have connection with weather forecast,
Mm-hmm.
and climate seasonal forecast, then you will be able to take decision. You will save money because you will actually use electricity when it's cheaper and more available, and of course the system will be better. um, the whole system will increase the efficiency, and the provider of energy, they are not only the only one taking decision, but there will be a conversation kind
True.
with energy providers and energy user. um, I think this is the future that I hope is going to happen in my lifetime.
No, no,
No, no,
and
definitely. Right.
definitely, right? No.
and
You are
You
more
are
younger
more
I
than
younger
us.
really
than us.
hope we can do that. I have an electric car, for example, and to be able to charge it when there is surplus of energy would be fantastic.
No, definitely.
Definitely,
As I
as I
said, that
said that
I think
I
in
think in
future we will
future we
also
will
get
also get
an AI
an
who can
AI to
predict my
predict my
Monday
Monday
morning,
morning,
so that
so
how
that
much
how much
workload will be
workload
there
will be
for the
there for
entire
the
week.
entire
I
week.
can
I
predict,
can
and I
predict,
can
and I
go
can
for
go for
some
some
outing as
outing
well.
as well.
Who knows?
Who knows?
It's the
So
It's
future.
the future.
and this is the other side of the coin. It's not just thinking about AI and data center are using a lot of electricity, but they are also a tool, an important tool for actually be much more efficient with the energy.
True. That's
True. That's
really true.
really true.
And in
And
fact,
in
right
fact,
now,
right now,
as we
as we
discussed about
discussed about
energy and
energy
made
and
it
made it
very
very
serious about
serious about
how the
how
future
the
would be,
future would be,
let's have
let's
some
have
fun.
some fun.
We
We
already
already
have
have
some cue
some cue
cards
cards
for you,
for you,
and
and
every
every
couple of
couple of
hours,
hours,
always go
always
through
go
this
through this
section,
section,
and we
and
call
we
it
call it
rapid fire
rapid fire
section,
section,
right?
right?
And
And
in this
in
rapid
this
fire
rapid fire
section, we have
section, we
two
have
games.
two
One
games.
is
One
like
is
a
like
quick
a quick
one
one
where you
where
have to
you have
say
to say
about,
about,
there will be a
there will be
time
time
foundations.
foundations.
We gave
We gave
two
two
options.
options.
So for
So for
you,
you,
one is
one is
predict and
predict
one
and
is
one is
react,
react,
right?
right?
So
So
I'll give
I'll
you a
give you a
scenario,
scenario,
maybe like
like
two or
two
three
or three
scenarios,
scenarios,
and you
and
have
you
to
have to
say
say
to
through
spontaneous
spontaneous
manner
manner
whether you want
whether
to
you want to
predict it
predict it
or
or
simply
simply
react
react
to it,
to it,
right?
right?
So
So
sometimes, for
sometimes, for
example,
example,
in
in
AI or
AI
any
or any
data,
data,
we can
we can
predict the
predict
data,
the data.
but in
But in
some
some
ways
ways,
we
we
just
just
react to the
react to
data
the data.
that okay,
That okay,
it is
it
here,
is
it's
here, it's
fine, like
fine,
we
like
know
we
what
know
can
what
do.
can do.
So
So
usually,
usually
right now
right
we'll
now
go
we will go
through
through
some
some
points.
points.
For
For
example,
example,
heat
heat
wave
wave
spikes
spikes
electricity
electricity
demands.
demands.
So
So
will you
will you
predict it,
predict it
or you'll
or
just
you'll just
react to it?
react to it?
For
For
example, right?
example, right?
So let's
So let's
start
start
with the
with the
first one.
first one.
Heat
Heat
waves
waves
spikes
spikes
electricity
electricity
demands.
demands.
For you,
For
it will
you,
be
it will be
reaction or
reaction
is
or is
simply
simply
a
a
prediction.
prediction.
Hmm. So it will be a prediction because we can predict heat waves. Um, but with the prediction, I think it is important also to provide information on how people should react. So
Hmm,
it is provide what we call it impact based forecast. So not
that's true.
only say, oh, a heat wave is coming, we will have a spike of 40 degree, but actually say people, okay, you stay inside the house. If you have air conditioning, use air conditioning. If not, go to a friend that have air conditioning. Don't go out on the streets and walk for 10 kilometers, or don't go jogging because it's very dangerous. So this kind of information, it is a prediction, but it is more than just say this is the temperature. It's actually give the people some hints of, and change their behavior
Mhm.
because of the heat waves. I think this is something that I really hope we eventually will be able to provide to the population more and more, so that it will reduce really the stress of, of the extreme event on the
Yes.
people. It will actually save life, because sometimes people don't realize, but they go out and they might have some preconditioning that make them really
Hmm.
sick. um, and you provide action to people
These people,
based on the forecast.
and they'll
And they'll
react to it.
react to it.
And hopefully
Hopefully,
hopefully
yes.
Hopefully, yeah.
I mean, we cannot just do like uh, tell people what to do, but we hope that people take the
Seriously.
good decision based on the information that we provide.
But a
But a
well-informed
well-informed.
person.
Well informed, and really, with action plan.
Correct.
Correct.
So, what
So,
would be
what would be
the
the
same
same
answer for
answer for
storms
storms
damaging the
damaging the
transmission
transmission
lines?
lines?
um yeah, so we can, based on that prediction, of course, in this case is the really operators should take the decision of what to um, what kind of grid to use, or to cut if the storm is too strong and is going to damage the infrastructure and the grids. Um, and yeah, I mean, and also help people, for example, to provide information to
Correct.
people.
Correct.
Like,
Hmm.
it is different, you see, when you know suddenly you don't have electricity,
Hmm.
Hmm.
or there is a message which tell you there is a risk of cutting electricity, so be prepared that between this time and this time you might not have electricity, so people can prepare themselves and you know um, and react and
React to it.
overcome
React to it.
this period. So in a way, I think this is also a good prediction and good information that we can provide, not only to to the operators, but also the operators with the users. And think about, for example, an hospital.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So they can use battery, for example, for that period. These are critical um, infrastructure critical operation that might need a continuation of electricity. So if they know that there is a risk of power cut because of a storm, then they can, you know, uh, charge their battery and then
Correct.
run on battery on that period and be able to provide the service that they are supposed to provide to the population.
It's
It's
fantastic.
fantastic.
Now, the
Now
last
the
one
last
goes
one
back
goes
to
back
where
to
you
where you
started,
started,
that
that
India
India
having a
having
drop
a
of
drop of
wind
wind
generation.
generation.
So, for
So for
sudden drop
sudden
of wind
drop of wind
generation,
generation,
what would it
what
be?
would it be?
Is there
Is there
prediction or
prediction
is
or
just
is
a
just a
reaction?
reaction?
Again, I think we have to get prepared to this. Our data show that um, Southeast Asia might have episodes of Dunkelflaute, they call it. So low wind and also low solar radiation. Um, and they have to be prepared. So I think this is something that with a good prediction, India can overcome, increase their battery storage and be able to um, still maintain a continuous supply of
Hmm.
power, even if those kind of episodes are happening. And we know that India is it's a lot of a population, a lot of
Hmm.
people
Yes.
need electricity, and with the increase of global warming and heat waves, of course electricity for air conditioning is sometimes at the peak of
The pick.
the
True.
capacity.
I used
I
to
used to
remember when I
remember
was
when I
in
was in
Delhi
Delhi
back
back
in
in, I think,
6 years
6
back,
years
7
back,
years
7
back.
years back.
The amount
The
of
amount
heat
of heat
waves we
waves
have
we have
received at the
received at the
time,
time,
oh my
oh
god,
my God,
I cannot
I cannot
explain as
explain
well.
as
The
well.
heat waves are
Heat waves are
different over
different
there.
over there.
You will
You'll
be
be,
you'll
you'll
feel like
feel
you
like
are
you are
standing in
standing
front
in
of the
front of the
furnace.
furnace.
That
That
bad it
bad
is
it is
sometimes,
sometimes,
and it
and
gives a
it gives a
loophole.
loophole.
Like
Like
you
you
increase the
increase
number
the
of
number of
AC air
AC air
conditions,
conditions,
and then it
and then it
increases the
increases
heat
the
as
heat as
well
well
outside, right?
outside, right?
And then
And then
of course
of
you
course
increase
you
the air
increase the air
conditioning. So
conditioning.
it's
So
kind
it's
of like
kind of like
loophole. It
loophole.
goes
It
back
goes back
and back
and
and
back
back.
and back.
Yeah, I mean, definitely this is something that has to be addressed, but I'm sure there are solutions for that, and
Hmm.
hopefully there will be. I mean, at the moment, in terms of looking at the data,
Hmm.
we still have climate. The climate indicators indicates that the trend is still uh, going up,
Upward.
and
Upward.
in terms of emissions, in terms of temperatures, in terms of melting of glacier, in terms of the heat accumulated in the oceans. So adaptation is becoming very important, and cities especially are uh, particularly vulnerable to climate change and uh, heat waves, exposed to heat waves. So they will need to find a solution
Solution.
Solution.
for the population, for the citizen. Yeah.
Yes, that's
Yes, that's
true.
true.
And
And
when
when
we
we
came to
came
this
to this
conclusion that
conclusion
okay,
that
we
okay,
need
we
more
need more
predictions as
predictions
well.
as well.
Right
Right
now,
now,
the
the
is becoming
becoming
more
more
serious, right?
serious, right?
So right
So right
now,
now,
whatever
whatever
first thing
first
comes
thing
into
comes
your
into your
mind,
mind,
you have to
you
tell
have to
us.
tell us.
So I'll
So
give
I'll
you a
give you a
sentence
sentence
and I'll give
and
you
I'll
two
give you two
options
options
simultaneously.
simultaneously.
Whatever the
Whatever
first
the
thing
first
comes
thing
into your
comes
mind,
into your mind,
just tell us,
just tell us,
right?
right?
Okay.
So
So
only
only
every
every
question will
question
have
will
two
have two
seconds if you
seconds
have to
if you
give the
give the
answer within
answer
two
within two
seconds, right?
seconds, right?
So
So
moving ahead,
moving
the
ahead, the
first
first
thing
thing
right now.
right now.
So
So
bear in
bear in
mind
mind
that
that
climate
climate
change
change
in
in
one word,
one word,
is it
is it
future
future
grids
grids,
or
or
it's
it's
any other
any other
infrastructure,
infrastructure,
whatever comes
whatever
to your
comes to
mind.
your mind?
Hmm. Well, is becoming critical, I think, for yeah. I mean,
Okay.
looking at
So
the
the
data
uh-huh,
is becoming a bigger and bigger problem if we don't do something, reduce our emissions.
that's true. So next is, as I said, the future grids. Is it smart or stressed?
I hope smart. I
Nicely
hope
answered, by
smart.
the way. So AI, overhyped or essential?
Essential.
That's true. Okay. So most underrated climate risk.
Hmm. Underrated. I think sea level rise.
Perfect. One technology the world needs urgently.
So many. I don't know. Urgently. Let's say more battery,
More. Yes. That's true. Well,
more
well,
storage,
well played.
more storage.
And last but not the least, hopeful or worried about 2030?
Um, Worried about 2050.
Hmm. Okay. From the WMO, it's worried, so we have to be very, very careful about what we have to take the decisions, and we have to pace up with all the policies and what are the advocacies we have to do. So that's a really nice game. It was amazing playing with you as well, Roberto. As we do with all the guests, you did amazing in the exact point, and how you answered all the questions as well. Did you have fun with the rapid fire round?
Absolutely, yes. Thank you so much.
No, definitely. And
It's
right
already
now,
finished.
yeah, I know that it's Saturday, and I can see that sun is still there in your place. I don't want to keep you much longer, but we have like one or two discussions to make, and then of course I'll leave you with a wonderful day to enjoy for that. But before going, we want to know Roberta Boscolo more closely. What Roberta Boscolo does in a Sunday morning, and what are the favorite things to do? Might be the hobbies or any very interesting thing that not everyone knows about.
I like walking, and I'm lucky that I live in Switzerland, and
Mm-hmm.
there is a lot of nice walk and mountains to go up and have a nice view. So generally on Monday morning is a big nice walk through the woods and then up to the mountains and just admire the beautiful scenery and the lake and the Alps is just connected with the nature. I think
Nature,
is important for the mind and also for the body.
the body. And I know that you read a lot of books. I can see from your behind as well, like the background, how many books are you kept. Any specific recommendation for two books of your life, you can say the best books that you have read?
Oh, but I like a lot of novels
Uh-huh.
because I read a lot of books. A lot of I read a lot about science.
Mhm.
So then my favorite books are like literature and novel.
Wow.
Yeah, I liked a lot the books of Ken Follett,
Mhm.
The Pillar of the Earth. It
Oh,
was big. And then I really liked in terms of novels one novel from Nabokov and it's Lolita. It was beautiful written and I loved it. Yeah.
fantastic. Really, thank you so much for sharing that with us. Our viewers would be keen to understand what's inside, and will be definitely, if like as they follow you, they'll follow the books as well.
Thank you. And yeah, I mean, we can say that I'm very active in LinkedIn, and I post a lot of energy and meteorology. Um, so I invite everybody to come to my LinkedIn profile and follow me. And if you are interested in what we discussed today with Saikat and the angle that science, climate data, and weather is important for the energy transition.
Thank you so
Thank you
much
so
for
much for
actually
actually
giving
giving
us
us
the
the
opportunity to
opportunity
follow
to
you.
follow
Just
you, just
because
because
most
most
of
of
our
our
members from
members from
Energy
Energy
Working Group,
Working Group,
they
they
actually follow
actually
you
follow
and
you,
follow your
follow your
work,
work,
including me,
including me,
since many
since many
years.
years.
And
And
as we are
as we are
talking about
talking
the
about the
youth,
youth,
as we are
as we're
talking
talking
about
about
the
the
members of the
members of the
Energy
Energy
Working Group,
Working Group,
we
we
usually
usually
formulate
formulate
you know
you know,
draft
draft
documents,
documents,
policies,
policies,
marks.
marks.
But
But
as we
as we
speak
speak
about
about
youth,
youth,
sometimes we
sometimes we
also
also
notice there
notice
is a
there is a
lack
lack
of
of
uh, representation,
representation,
or
or
maybe
maybe
how the
how the
demand has
demand
been
has been
interpreted,
interpreted,
which is
which is
not been
not been
properly
properly
representing the
representing the
entire
entire
scenario or
scenario
the
or the
data.
data.
Or
Or
sometimes
sometimes
when
when
the
the
policymakers read
policymakers
the
read
demand,
demand,
they may
they
be
may be
not
not
exactly
exactly
connecting
connecting
with
with
exactly what
exactly
they're
what they're
asking,
asking,
just
just
because
because
they feel
they
some
feel
kind of
some kind of
disconnect as well
disconnect as
with the
well with the
communication,
communication,
maybe with
maybe
the
with
how it is
how it is
written, or
written, or
maybe
maybe
they
they
don't know
don't
the
know the
exact
exact
scenario with the
scenario with the
specific
specific
evidence.
evidence.
For
For
just a
just a
suggestion for
suggestion
the
for the
entire
entire
youth
youth
right
right
now,
now,
what's your
what's your
suggestion for
suggestion for
us? So
us? So
how
how
should all
should
the
all the
demands,
demands,
all the
all the
policy
policy
documentations,
documentations,
and any
and any
consultation that
consultation
we
that
do
we do
has to be
has to be
followed in a
followed in a
manner that
manner
we
that
should
we should
keep the
keep the
data and
data
keep
and keep
the
the
forecast
forecast
and other
and other
things into
things into
place?
place?
What would be the
What would be the
best way of
best way of
communication?
communication?
Um, well, it's a very complex question, and um, there are a lot of for example, WMO has a lot of information about data, about forecast and extreme events as well. So I think, you know, try to and then you have, for example, IRENA. They look more like in increasing the capacity, helping the countries to fulfill their ambitions. Then UNDP also is working more on the energy and development. So there are many agencies
Mhm.
that look at different aspects of the energy, and I know that might be um, tiring to go to each of them, but I feel like each of them have voices, like me for WMO, other colleagues for the different agency, where they try to um, to look at the system from their point of view. And so I think the young people, what they need to do is really develop a vision which is more holistic,
Mm.
help us to go beyond just looking at one aspect, but look more at the system. I think a system analysis and a system approach is what we need, and at the moment, to put us everything, all the elements together. And I think the youth and the young people can start, develop this skill and this approach.
Well said
Well
that
said
we
that
need
we need
a
a
holistic
holistic
approach
approach
rather than
rather
being
than
in the
being in the
silos.
silos.
And
And
I
Yes.
think
I think
you already
you
work
already work
with
with
the
the
wing
wing
of
of
WMO because
WMO
you
because
already
you already
connected
connected
before
before
with the youth
with the youth
wing.
wing.
So
So
any
any
kind of
kind of
synergy or
synergy
any
or any
collaboration
collaborations
with
with
Energy
Energy
Working Group is
Working Group is
always
always
welcome.
welcome.
We will
We will
approach you
approach
as
you
well.
as well.
And any
And
help
any
that
help
we
that
can
we
do
can do
as an
as
Energy
an
Working
Energy
Group, as
Working
a
Group, as a
youth
youth
constituents of
constituents of
UNFCCC,
UNFCCC,
we will
we
do
will do
definitely
definitely
we will
we
do
will do
for
for
WMO youth
WMO
group
youth
as
group
well.
as well.
Thank you.
So
So
right
right
now,
now,
the
the
conversations
conversations
really
really
showed us
showed us
something very
something very
important.
important.
The
The
future of
future of
energy is
energy is
not
not
just
just
renewables,
renewables,
but
but
it
it
is
is
with
with
resilience,
resilience,
with
with
predictability,
predictability,
with
with
proper
proper
forecast
forecast
into
into
climate
climate
information.
information.
And when
And
we
when we
speak about
speak about
all of the
all of the
above,
above,
we
we
have
have
our
our
special
special
guest,
guest,
Roberta.
Roberta.
Thank you
Thank
so
you so
much
much
for
for
joining us
joining
here
us
and
here and
sharing your
sharing your
incredible
incredible
insights on
insights on
all of the
all of
above.
the above.
And
And
everyone who is
everyone who's
watching,
watching,
don't just
don't
think
just
about
think about
energy
energy
as a
as a
generation
generation
anymore.
anymore.
Think
Think
about the
about the
intelligence
intelligence
behind the
behind the
generation,
generation,
behind the
behind the
system.
system.
And
And
again,
again,
from the
from the
entire
entire
working
working
group
group
and
and
from
from
entire
entire
youth
youth
who are
who are
really
really
specific to
specific to
energy and
energy and
enthusiastic about
enthusiastic about
energy,
energy,
we are
we are
thanking
thanking
Roberta
Roberta
Boscolo for
Boscolo for
being
being
here with
here
us.
with us.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot.
See you
See you
next
next
Saturday,
Saturday,
everyone.
everyone.
Thanks a lot
Thanks a
for
lot for
being
being
here
here
until the
until
end
the
with
end
us.
with us.
Stay
Stay
informed,
informed,
stay
stay
curious,
curious,
and let's
and
keep
let's keep
talking
talking
about
about
energy.
energy.
Thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much.